Sadhikji, good morning. Fine, thank you. They've all gone to the plant actually today. So by evening, those details they will give to us. Yeah, today evening they will give it to us. Okay. Maximum best report. Yeah. I chased them to go and get the things done. So yeah, they've already, I think they must be there anytime now. We'll ask them for e-pass now. So let's catch up in the evening. Pardon? Yeah, yes. Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay. To be safer side, some amount on our name. Yeah. We will, no, I told you, we both from the Prakash side. That Sampath and team, no, that we will clarify it after the session. I am starting a FDP here by 11. We will discuss that after this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Okay, Thomas.
A very warm welcome to everyone present here for the 7 days faculty development program conducted by PPG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. At this midst of COVID-19, the Department of Commerce with CA, PA and IT takes immense pleasure in conducting this nurturing the next generation educators. A true teacher would never tell you what to do, but would give you the knowledge with which you could decide what would be best for you to do. In such a manner, we have organized this program to share the knowledge and enrich each other's minds to overcome the future of this teaching community. By these words, now I request Principal Dr. N. Muthamani ma'am, who has stood behind us to support us and a dynamic person to take us to make us reach great heights. I request ma'am to inaugurate this program. Please, ma'am. Ma'am. Now, our principal ma'am, Dr. N. Muthamani ma'am, will inaugurate the program.
Ma'am's audio is not there, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Welcome to this session. We are very happy to have you, sir. Really, we are proud and honored to have you here for our inaugural session and the first starting session here for our faculty development program. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, all, and I welcome you all for this 7 days faculty development program on nurturing the next generation educators, organized by the Department of BCom, CA, PA and IT. We, BPG College of Arts and Science, is established in the year 2018, and we are a new budding college and working with the vision to facilitate transformation of students into good human beings, responsible citizens and competent professionals, focusing on generation and dissemination of knowledge. At the outset, I hope all of you and your family are safe and staying healthy during this pandemic. And of course, we as teachers have taken the most of the responsibility to cope up this sudden change due to this COVID pandemic in our teaching learning process. we are striving to make everything normal to our students, even though we are at home. And even the students are at home. And a big applause and kudos to all the teachers community. And of course, we would prefer to meet you all in person, but meeting all of you virtually in this FDP is also a pleasure for me. And the aim of this FDP is to nurture the next generation educators. So only we thought of having different topics for every day and not confined to a common domain. We are covering all the aspects that is needed for the teaching community in this 7 days faculty development program. And of course, we all will agree that it is clear that the 21st century classroom need is completely different when compared to our old teaching learning methodology. And we have now become the facilitators of the student learning and creators of productive classroom environments. And nowadays, we are talking more about higher order thinking skills, outcome-based education, effective communication skills, emotional intelligence inside the classroom, and how the knowledge of technology the students and the faculty members are having. And last but not least, we are also striving to cope up with our research activities also. I thank all the resource persons who have accepted to share their knowledge to the teaching community. And the teachers are all lifelong learners. And I also thank all the participants who showed willingness to join this 7 days faculty development program. And for your information, we are overwhelmed with the registration process. The WhatsApp group is getting filled, and we are having 4 WhatsApp group for this faculty development program. I thank each and every participants for showing such enthusiasm to join this faculty development program to enhance your knowledge in various domains. And my hearty congratulations to the FDP organizers, the Department of BCom, CA, PA and IT for organizing such a wonderful event. And best wishes to all of you. And I wish to have a protective learning session to nurture yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the inaugural note. To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. Here is such a person, Dr. R. Kumaresan sir, HOD of Commerce, CA, PA and IT, to welcome the gathering. Please, sir.
A very good morning to all. Small opportunities are often the beginning of great enterprise. On behalf of PPG College of Arts and Science, it's my immense pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries, my dear faculty members of our institutions, and all the participants of various institutions. Welcome you all. First, I'm so happy to welcome the eminent person who is our guest of the day, Dr. Nanjan Balu sir, promoter and director, Cosmos Sports World, principal partner, Standards and Excellence, Director STSM, Sri Saraswati Dhyaraja College, Pollachi. We wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, for the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more. You are a special leader of us. She is none other than our principal, PPG College of Arts and Science, Dr. N. Muttumani ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Last but not least, teamwork divides the task and multiple the success. So I extend my warm welcome to all our faculty friends of various institutions and our institution. Once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The distance between insanity and genius is measured only by success. Now I call upon Dr. T. Sangeeta ma'am to introduce the successful chief guest of today. Please, ma'am.
My humble request, sorry if I'm not intervening, please make the introduction very, 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 very brief because that doesn't carry big significance because I'm here in front of you already. So kindly make it very short and brief. Sorry, Sangeeta madam, for the introduction.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Short. ரொம்ப ஷார்ட் பண்ணவே முடியாது சார். இஸ் so long sir. So
ஏற்கனவே குமரேசன் சார் சொல்லிட்டாரு. அதனால
I will try to short 2 pages. 2.5. Okay sir, 2 minutes. Okay sir.
Oh, please. Okay, right.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome to all 7 days National Faculty Development Program, Nutrition the Next Generation Educator, organized by Department of Commerce, CA, PA and IT. first day of our program, a wonderful resource person, Dr. Nanjan Balu sir. Sir have completed MCom, MBA, MPhil in Commerce and PhD in Commerce. Sir have conducted many training for student-oriented and faculty development program. Training modules are benefited 7,000 plus students. Sir has provided career guidance to as many students through scientific models prepared. Sir have a council member of Retail Association of India, Kongu region, and also motivated many young retailers scale up their business. Then strengthened and the even management skill among students and ensured that all programs are conducted by student clubs and also developed a model for students to be globally competent in the name of GCM. And sir have provided FDP beneficiary more than 1,500 teachers across various institutions. Sir helped many small retail outlets in promoting their products through students' events along with Ramakrishna's Women's College. Sir have experimental learning and outbound training and trained more than 3,000 students over the weekend among Coimbatore colleges, and also provided quality management training for 3,300 officers of West Zone at the Office of the Inspector General Police West Zone, Tamil Nadu, and also implemented QMS, audited around 40 clients including institution, industry and hospitals, and also speaker at Lipology Global Presence Meet, one among the selected 25 speakers across globe. And also former member of Board of Studies, Department of International Business, PSG College of Arts and Science and NGM College, Pollachi, and also retail national level resource person in retail and addressed retailer across India, and also worked learn experience business as ex-director in Cosmos Sports World, which will help the faculty and students and institutions. And also sir keeping abreast of latest in the field of management and enthusiastic and encouraging others, highly adaptable with good leadership qualities, having as a effective and team worker, and also continuous research analysis and capable of analyzing problems deeply and think of effective solutions. Sir presently acts as a promoter and director, Cosmos Sports World, principal, partner, and standards and excellence of director of STSM, Sri Saraswati Tyagaraja College of Pollachi. Once again, welcome you, sir. Now hand over section to sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dr. Muthumani, principal of this great institution, and Professor Kumresan, head of the department. Principal Madam, your initial speech was fantastic. The way you had given a motivation for all the participants was really nice. It's a very good way to start. Professor Kumresan, thank you for the welcome address, and special thanks to Professor Karthikeyan for calling me here, and Mr. Sangeeta for introducing me. Friends, it is a short while that I returned back to teaching. That's in the late 2019, after moving away from Hindustan as the director the year 2008. After that, I was wandering about and got acquainted with a US-based company to impart a school health program among school children. The reason behind me telling this was continuously I was in search of the value addition for students throughout my career. Even now, apart from my business, I keep acquainting myself with educational institutions to see how best we can create the best professionals of the globe. So running around here and there, I learned a few things That's what I have compiled today for you. So thank you for the opportunity. Let me begin this session. Friends, what we have to look at now is that, given an opportunity to us, we should look at two things here. That is transformation and conversion. Now, what is this transformation and conversion? See, transformation is transforming people to get into the act, and conversion is to see that the act is done. Say, for example, your department produces good accountant and good IT professional in the field of commerce and accountancy. And you have to transform them to a global outlook so that they will start having a big dream. A global outlook means having big dream. And this big dream, they will be able to innovate several management practices or accounting practices. And they will involve themselves in the company, whichever they are going to. And that will give the result for the company. And one person asked me, sir, is there no other solution rather than Tally? There are quite a number of, softwares. Not only in Tally, there are many softwares. But what we know is we are only used to this. So the answer given was exploration. There are several accounting packages which are still not yet been explored. Okay, so having this in mind, transformation and conversion, let's get into the topic. So I do have the right to present, isn't it? Okay. Now, just give me a moment. I'll open my... Okay. Is it visible? Just a moment. Yeah. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Now we will have breaks in between to make it very, very, interactive between us. Friends, if you look at the topic, it says it's time to create a globally competent professional, right? Huge appreciation for India. India has come a really long way. See, in 1950, our literacy rate was only 18%. Today, we are at 77%. And with 1.5 million schools, 751 universities, and 35,000 plus colleges, we are biggest in the world. Well, we can boast of 14,16,299 teachers who have been on the organized sector. We do not know how many are there in the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector means I'm talking about the tuition centers and all those, which is predominantly more familiar in Kerala and other parts of the world. See, we have 37.4 million students with a gross enrollment ratio of 26.3. Well, all our programs have been a huge success. NCERT in 1965, the National Educational Policy in the year 86 and 91, the NAC in the 94, and the National Knowledge Commission, headed by Sam Pitroda. You all must have heard Sam Pitroda. Then the Yashpal Committee and the NCERT bill and the present RUSA. Okay, right. So we have come a long way. Did we miss anything between the first educational policy and the latest? The first educational policy, which was in 1948, was also what Dr. S. Radhakrishnan said. We have to foster leadership to help individuals develop their potential. And you see in the screen that, competent men and teachers' value and problem solving, all these kind of visionary statements have been given in the year 1948. I was looking at the the latest national education policy, the vision statement wasn't much different. It was meaning the same thing. The reason for me giving this is to tell that, in 1948 also, India wanted competent men and women. In 2020 also, the government is talking about competent men and women. So the question arises now, didn't we create the competent men and women? So that answer, let us have it during the due course. It is not that we haven't created. It is not that we have created many. It is for us to explore. That's why I said you this topic is not a subjective topic. This is an objective topic which will make us, transform, as rightly our principal said, it's totally a new era. And everything is going to change. Just because we are doing the virtual platform, it doesn't mean that we can carry out the same legacy, because we are addressing the millennials and the millennial mindset is totally different. So hats off to all the teachers of India. So India ranks the 6th most positive among 35 countries. A survey taken by One Workey Foundation in UK. It was a very recent study. 2019, the study was. Okay, that means the teachers have done a fantastic job in India, and they are ranked 6th among the 35 countries in the world. Okay, keep this in mind now. Let us look at the NEP. The National Education Policy says critical thinking and innovative thought process is a must. We have to create. In 2040, India's education should be second to none. So these are the two main objectives. The education system should create critical thinking and innovative thought process. If you look at the earlier slide of Dr. Radhakrishnan's vision policy also, the innovative and the critical thinking process were there. So I don't know what happened in between, why the national education policy should keep on repeating the same thing, critical thinking and innovative thought process. Is there something we missed is what exactly we have to see, and we will get the answer shortly. Right. And see, 2040, 19 years is left. That we have to be an education system which should be second to none. It's a very, what you call it as aggressive objective. So unless otherwise it is transpired from the top to the bottom rungs, this objective achievement within 19 years becomes a big challenge for us. And, the national education policy, whoever has devised it, has said that, revision and revamping of all aspects of education structure. I don't know where will we have the time to revamp and all aspects of education structure. Again, we should not go into square one by doing several exercises. Already committees are working on this. And they say we have to creative potential of each individuals, which we seen within 2 decades remains a mammoth task. So friends, what is my point here is, in 19 years, to be global's best education system, I don't think we need to revamp any structure. What we need to do is just to fine tune. Okay, this is purely my vision as an educator and a person from the industry. What I see is when students come, or when students being placed in a company or a corporate, because I am also in the interview panel of many companies, we are rather finding a mismatch. Several times I used to warn the interview panelist saying that, no, please don't have a mindset that, the present day students are not hardworking, the present day students are not fit. Do away with that thinking and try to be very, open in understanding them. And they used to ask me, why the hell you keep on repeating these things to us? We won't do that. Do you think we are biased? Do you think we are partial? And I said, after the end of every interview, you come across saying that, why we are not able to find good students. Yes, this is a point to be considered, friends. When I talk about good students, it does not mean about their character. It's talking about their potentiality in the corporate. If you Google it out, you will find that the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, year after year, has raised this issue quite a number of times. They are the one who are taking this national skill report in association with Ernst & Young or sometimes with KPMG. And all these people find that there is some kind of gap existing, right? Well, let's ask these questions to ourselves. You all know Coursera, and it is a 2020, Coursera has conducted a skill index where they ranked India in the 40th position in the technological education. See, friends, you look at this pandemic situation now. What's happening here? It's a really grave situation. People running helter-skelter for oxygen and bed. And to the shock, every single equipment is being imported from China, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, and several other countries. Such a huge country does not have the oxygen concentrators, which is not very easy to manufacture. If you look at Coimbatore as a base, it's a huge industrial city. It's known as engineering city. There's a lot of German interest here. But unfortunately, we could not find many manufacturers having these concentrators being manufactured. And this oxygen support is very basic in any health department. Recently, I had visited some rural primary health centers, especially in my native in Ooty. To my shock, I found that some of the primary health centers, which is quite a distance away from the city, did not have the basic oxygen concentrators. What will happen if a senior person or any person for that matter is gasping for breath? Taking him to a place like Ooty or Kunnur in a hill station is not very easy. And I was wondering why it was not provided. Friends, when we talk about a robust education system is one which fulfills the basic requirements, friends. The basic requirements are food, clothing, and shelter, and of course, health. So this is what our education should aim at. I've got a point here to tell. Why I'm touching upon this point here is you will understand why I'm talking about this. So let us look at the Coursera. They say data science domain, we are the 51st and we are 58th in the data management competency. Now, the Hindu carried a report by Aspiring Minds, and Aspiring Minds is employed by the government of India to bring out the skill report. You can also Google it out, you will get the data here. See, 1.7% of engineers in India are fit into the new age job. Friends, there might be engineering data here, but why I was giving that the oxygen concentrator example was a country, if it was to flourish, it needs to produce. If it is producing more, it can be self-sufficient and it can even export to foreign countries and earn the foreign revenues. If the manufacturing domain is very, very less in a country, that means the country becomes weaker over a period of years because other nations will not buy from you. What can you export from here? How long? Foods, agricultural products, fruits, etc. And your software. If some other companies become competitive, you look at Bangladesh. Bangladesh has become very competitive to India in terms of the apparel manufacturing. And Tirupur has lost quite a huge business to Bangladesh. So is the case of Philippines and South Korea. They are fast catching up. They say 8 out of 10 engineers are not employable in any position in the knowledge economy. 3.84% of the engineers have technical, cognitive, and language. Only 3.84%. And 37.7% of Indians cannot write an error-free code. That means that students who are doing the particular program. And China is only 10.35%. Only 40% engineers end up in internship. That is the interest to get the practical knowledge. Only 2.5% of Indians possess engineering skill in artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, I was talking to you about FICCI, and it is here. FICCI's higher education submitter says the employability is very, very poor. And he gives 4 points: outdated curricula, shortage of quality faculty, low student-staff ratio, lack of industry-institute linkages. Friends, these may be their observation, but we've got a solution today. The solution is what we are exactly going to discuss. So taking all these into consideration, okay, here Narayan Murthy has made a very simple statement here. China does it. Why don't you just be like China? Or why don't you just learn from China? Okay, so taking that into consideration, we find India has filed only 18,173 patents, whereas China has filed 5,61,377 patents, and Japan by 4,88,744 patents. Now, there is a point in which Mr. Narayan Murthy is trying to say here. He says, try to be very practical. His meaning is that they have demonstrated by becoming more and more indispensable to the global economic order. That is the point. We need to create professionals who become more indispensable. No, good thing has happened. If you look at the NASA, we say there are many Indian scientists there. Very good. Now, for NASA, it becomes indispensable without the Indians. Right. If you look at the doctors in the United States, and if you look at the doctors in the United Kingdom also, the dependability of the Indian doctors is more. So they have demonstrated becoming more and more indispensable. So that means they have become globally competent. Now, friends, hope you will understand where we are going to. Now forget about every government coming with a national education policy saying that change this, change that, change this. Allah unnu venda. Unnu mattum venum. Enna venum appdinu kettingena adukku munnadi oru chinna oru idha namma pannuvom. The employability ranking which we checked up with the India skill report is very latest, 2021. I just taken MBA as an example. Okay, we will find out. In BE or BTech, the employability is only 46.82%. In MBA, it is 46, and BA, it is 42, BCom, it's 40, BSc, it is 30, MCA, it is 22, Polytechnic, it is only 25. Very sad. B Pharmacy, it's only 37. So what happens to the rest of the 50, 60 percentage? We need to address this. We have to bring them to our fold. See, it is always like this. When your organization invites a company for a placement, it is no point in showing 10 of your best students and saying that they are recruitable, please recruit them. No, the placement company doesn't look at that. The placement company looks at your department and tries to find out, on an average, what is the rating they can give to the students here, so that it is easy for them to come next year without any problem, because their employment requirement is always there. Okay, so this is the unfortunate situation happening in many places, where we march the best of our students, and on the other side we got the weakest of the student who simply says that I'm not interested in any placement because he's not confident about the placement. So friends, we need to have a very comprehensive and a holistic outlook and a vision for your respective department and courses here. Okay, there was a survey conducted. The பேரே வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா global competencies தான் அதோடைய survey. And the survey was taken among many countries. And in Indian perspective, they found out that there was no adequate counseling for career in India, that most of the students cannot pass an interview, that and many of the institutions can't even get an interview. So it is a question we need to ask for ourselves, are this really existing? Is this the real situation? No, we have to come out of the bubble in which we are. If you look at what the principal said in the morning, we need to quickly react to many things. That is exactly what is required now. See, Indian elephant, education elephant is huge. I showed you the data, one of the world's largest. But what if the elephant moves slowly? Elephant has to be very swift. Here we need a panther or a tiger or a leopard, which moves very quickly. Okay? Right. So youngsters today are very tech savvy, family centric, achievement oriented, feedback seeking, job hopping, team oriented, and you have different names for them. Whatever names you want to, you can call them. You can even call them as exponential entrepreneurs. Now, discussing all these things, you might have a doubt in your mind. What is the kind of student are we really giving to the community? What is the kind of students we are really giving to the community? But if you look at the IBM report, the IBM clearly says that students are very, very smart, actually. Students are very smart. But only thing is, a huge distraction is happening now. Of course they are, but they are certainly distracted than before, given the number of things happening both physically and virtually around them. Okay. Now, I will stop here briefly for a few seconds. I'll stop sharing this, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to make this interactive. I just want one or two of you to just unmute so that you can volunteer, right? Maybe Professor Kumaresan, Sangeeta, and Karthikeyan can unmute so that we can try to make it little interactive. Okay. Was I able to give you some information as a foundation?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay. hope I have not been very fast in my approach.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah. Am I trying to arrive at the picture of this globally competent professional by giving you certain details?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, just one question and a couple of answers from anybody who is willing to answer. Okay, friends. What do we understand by the term globally competent?
Good morning, sir. By globally
Yes.
competent, we mean we will be employable at every place of our choice for betterment in our working environment and career benefit.
That's an answer. That's good. But I am looking at something more. Good, sir. Thank you, Prabhagan, sir. You are right. You nailed at the point. But adukku mele something is there in being globally competent.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I feel it's a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude of a person, sir.
Yeah, it's a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Okay, fine. Right. Does this term, good, thanks, Professor. Does this term globally competent mean that we have to go outside? Anybody can answer.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we have to improve ourselves to the universal standards, sir.
Yeah. Improve ourselves to the universal standard. Yes. All three of your answers, Prabhakaran and Yasoda, all three of your answers are fantastic. Okay. Right. See, I told you we are the 6th best teaching community in the world. That means we have moved very, very close to the students and we have been helping them. See, Italy is a small country when compared to us. It's already developed and it is still spending 24% of their expenses on education. And our expenses on education is only 14%. See, a country which has got an illiteracy, which had a high illiteracy rate, a country which was called a third world country, a country which was called a developing and still being called as a developing country, with spending only 14% in education, we are able to bring so much development in the field of education, and we are able to bring a good name for India elsewhere is only because of you teachers. I'm telling you, in several forums, I would say we teachers, not only you, including me. And the kind of hard work which all of you have done over the years, it is an unimaginable work. I have visited a few countries, our neighboring country. You know, I don't want to name the country, but if you look at the teachers, their involvement with the students will be only 5 to 7% of what we are doing. Shocking. But nobody's asked them. They are just like that. Okay. And nobody would do the extra work like what we are doing here. The teachers here, we are going here at an extra mile, not minding the time. I know that you will all tell me, yes, sir, during this pandemic time, our work time has increased and we are working up to 8:30 in the night also. compiling so many reports, targeting. Yes, then look at that attitude. Somebody spoke about, Ms. Ann spoke about attitude. This is a fantastic attitude about the Indian teachers have. Now, I have a point here. Why I'm saying this is the only thing which can now make us globally competent, not the policies. Policies come and go. Tomorrow, if another government comes, they will bring a new policies. It's only the paper. Tell me religiously, how many of us are having the policy pasted in our back of the desk, and we are going through that policy and acting according to the policy? No, we do not know. Right? All our policies are through the, what you call it as, the central body and the universities, and then we just keep following that thing. Okay, only the autonomous institutions are getting some kind of a liberty to do certain things. But then, that is not the issue here. We will keep following those things, we will listen to those things, and we will oblige by those things. That's a different thing. But within our fold, within our means, and within our time, we need to have a different mindset from now. The time is now. So the rest part of the presentation has that content. I will show it to you. Okay. Okay. Friends, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Right. See, you know this guy, Thomas Friedman, who was written that book, World is Flat. The World is Flat is a book on the Indian software success, where he says in the initial years, he was astonished to find that the Indian software industry just grew many folds within a short period. Now, what he says is, if India were a stock, I would buy it. So that means he is very robust on India. He is betting high on India. I still believe India has got enormous assets. Consider the world we are going into. Okay. And he says that 1.3 billion Indians speaking 100 different languages with different religions and ethnicities, in addition to conducting free and fair elections. That's not a small thing. So we have to be motivated by this point. Now is the time we have to prepare. It's a caution for all of us, friends, that, by 2030, we will have 13 million graduates surplus. We may not be able to provide jobs for them. And you all know the reason why we cannot provide the job for them. It's because our youth population is much more. And we are the youngest nation in the world. You would have listened to this so many times. I need not tell you. This is a life cycle of a country where now we are in this position. If you look at our Prime Minister's visit over the last several years before the pandemic, there was a lot of criticism about Prime Minister visiting so many countries. No, in fact, Prime Minister had visited several countries to see how we could place our candidates in the future. So that gave birth to the enhancement of the skill development sector here. As many as lakhs of skill centers across India were closed overnight when the central government found that they were not properly functioning because huge funds were involved through the NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation. Now the restructuring has happened. The government had gone to several countries, especially Europe, because the survey says in 2030 or onwards, Europe will face an acute shortage of manpower. If the acute shortage of manpower is there, then a country like India could move. Our government was really quick enough to identify this and already made. That's the reason why we are tied up with the German skill sector and the United Kingdom's skill sector. See, the present unemployment rate is 11.09%. It is a CMI report. It is a CMA report, Center for Monitoring Indian Economies report. And shockingly, Tamil Nadu's unemployment rate is second highest. It is 28%. Okay. Now, the UNICEF study says that 2030, more than half of the 12th past Indians will lack the skills to get the job. Friends, this is crucial. Earlier, I was talking about 20 years, 19 years to be precise. Now I am talking about only 10 years. The UNICEF study says that 2030, more than half of the 12th past Indians will lack the skills to get a job. So this is exactly where we need to address this issue and get into this of global competence. Okay, now this global competence, what does it mean here is the capacity and disposition to understand and act on issues of global significance, which means one is aware, curious, interested in learning about the world and how it works. Yes, friends, you study commerce, you study IT. You only study commerce and you only study IT. You don't study the ecosystem of India. You don't study the health system of India. Had you studied the ecosystem and the health system prevailing in India, why we would have gone to China to buy the oxygen concentrators? Why we would have imported masks from China? Why we would have imported the oximeters from China? Today, oximeters are selling at 1,000 rupees, 1,100 rupees, and I've seen the quality of the oximeter. Very, very pathetic. It's only plastic which is very, very roughly done. And that has been in huge demand. Now, friends, global competence is the capacity and disposition to understand and act on issues of global significance. So the first point here is we have to make our students know about their ecosystem completely. He just cannot be a BCom student alone. He should know what is the GDP. You should know in what way the GDP is involved. And you should know how much money is being spent for poverty alleviation. You should know how much percentage is being spent for health. Unless otherwise he becomes a responsible citizen, his skill will not be properly utilized. And this is a lesson for us during this pandemic, right? We need to depend on so many countries. Even ventilator. See, many of the hospitals had only a few ventilators. And some of the doctors which we met, they were little ashamed or they were little worried. They felt little guilty. And they said, yes, sir. At least we should have had at least another 50 more ventilators. Why? I don't know why we didn't think about this. Friends, we need to overcome this curvilinear. Now what is happening? India is growing, India is strong, Indians are very good, all those things are there. But what happens is the ups and downs are more. We have no time to afford for that. Now the only time affordable is short. Therefore, there should be a linear growth. Okay. So I have taken what Patricia Galloway has said, because she's done an extensive study on the skills. A solid understanding of globalization is key to an engineering success. You don't bother about this engineer. You can replace it with any professional in today's global society. Okay, this is in that article called Development of Global Competence, which will enable 21st century engineers to develop into professionals capable of working successfully both domestically and globally, highly respected by the general public and regarded the world over as professionals of the highest order. See, here she gives the clue. Now it's very simple. Let's not depend on what the government says on the policies, procedures. Let it be there. We will take that. Right? As I told you, you teachers have been already doing a fantastic job. Now all you have to do is make your students globally competent. That is the vision. The problem is solved. Okay. Educating for global competence and engaging the youth. Okay. Now why this global competency is required? Because everywhere it is a flattened economy. The meaning of flattened economy means any country can become rich anytime. Any country is becoming powerful anytime. See, look at North Korea, the literacy rate is 100%. Whoever believed it? Right? You look at Bangladesh now, as I told you. In terms of textiles, they are going somewhere. And in terms of financial system also, they are very strong. So definitely India is understanding their competitiveness. You just cannot think that Bangladesh is a country which is behind. And the next point is hire skills from anywhere. You can hire from anywhere. People will come, will just throng into you. The day will stop. All these immigration aspects and all will get shot up. If India needs to do some developments, it has to bring people. Already there are a lot of Chinese here, a lot of Japanese you can see in Coimbatore. Okay. And I told you that migration process. And knowledge becoming obsolete very often. That is one of the biggest issues. What we learned yesterday is obsolete today. We need to reinvent. Right? See, if you look at the elderly generation, they are not even able to, some of them, I'm not talking about everybody, they are not even able to make an online order. Every time they have to depend on their children. Come on, இதுக்கு ஆர்டர் பண்ணு அதை வாங்குங்க இது வாங்குங்க இல்லை நீங்களே போடுங்க உங்க ஆப்ல போட்டு நீங்களே பாருங்க அப்படின்னா ஐயோ அது ஆப்ல என்னென்னமோ வருது. See, because it is not that we are not intelligent on those things. It's because we didn't get ready to be observed in that. Whoever will think that, does young children like to go shopping to the mall and other places? They are going to the mall is for a different purpose, but they shop online. They sit at a park, they sit at a home, right? And they do their orders and get the products delivered home. That's why we say world is qualitatively different. We cannot keep thinking of the past world. The world is now qualitatively different. Okay. Who is globally competent? Now we come to the exact point. A person who is able to recognize the perspectives of others and own, that is the concern. உனக்கு என்ன வேணும், உங்களுக்கு என்ன தேவை, எனக்கு என்ன தேவை, right? It is within Coimbatore. What does a guy require in Bihar? How can I provide him anything? What do I want from the Biharian? What do I do? Okay. Now, what does Sri Lanka require? And what does India require from Sri Lanka? See, it is the capacity to recognize the perspectives. Second is capacity to communicate the ideas to others. Your WhatsApp, your social media is for enjoyment, right? But how many of us communicate the ideas to others? So engage your students and now start communicating of ideas, right? In many of the third world countries, please understand where governments failed. It was young students who have given water supply for 86 villages in the dry African belt. It was young students who have given the vaccination during the Ebola crisis. Ebola is like any other, this COVID SARS, much more deadlier than this. You know, people after people died at home and you cannot even go near the dead bodies there. It was fast communicable disease at that time. Now, globally competent individual can examine and explain their own views on culture. So this is where we say that the whole world is one now. It's a global village. Now do you respect that statement? The whole world is a sort of a global village. And we should know the tradition, recognizing how these influences their choice and interactions in everyday life, investigating the world and taking action. Now, friends, I was going through one statistics which has really shocked me. There was a comparison of few countries like, South Korea, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. Okay. Among these countries, the life expectancy rate is lowest in India and Pakistan. Okay. Right. The child mortality rate is also high in India and Pakistan. The number of children who die on birth is very high in India and Pakistan. For example, 33 out of 1,000 children die. This is really annoying. And in Pakistan, it is 65 children out of 1,000. And whereas in China, it is only 9. And in Malaysia, it is only 11 or something. Now, friends, now what does our education system should be for? Whether you study BCom or whether you study IT, whether you study computer science, engineering, what should your education be for? Shouldn't your education be for a good lifestyle or a healthy life, providing a healthy life, providing a peaceful life? What if you're in a country where you're one of the best educated and when you have the topmost universities, but you fight literally? Like take, for example, Turkey got some of the finest universities there. But what is happening? 24/7, they are under the bullets, rockets, fires, etc. Is there any peace? Syria is trying to do very good in education, but continuously you are fighting. You take Israel, they consider to be one of the most knowledgeable people across the world, and they have found solutions for everything. But are they living at peace? Friends, unless otherwise our students are globally competent, we cannot have a very decent living. Now, I'm stopping here for a second and I'm coming back for a few questions. Right. I stopped here for a second. Before we go to the third session, I've stopped here. Okay. Professor Karthikeyan.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Did I give you some points which has really pricked you in this particular session? Or for that matter, it could be anybody. Any particular point which I gave you, which has really made you feel, oh my goodness, is it really like this, or is it shocking? Anybody can answer. Yeah.
How to make our student a globally competent to give
How
his
to make a
knowledge.
global- Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was asking on the points which I had given, which has given you some kind of a feeling that, oh my goodness, we haven't done it. We have to do it. Andamari, the points, anybody can share. Or you can even put it on the chat. Am I seeing anything on the chat? Okay. Okay. Right. I think I've given you 3 points which we haven't thought of it so far now was. Point number 1 is when we teach commerce, we taught only commerce. We have not taught about him being globally aware, or for that matter, at least he should be regionally aware, right? So if you're teaching in Coimbatore, make your students very regionally aware. At least of Coimbatore, they should be knowing the best. Okay. Think globally and act locally. Thank you, Professor Balakrishnan, for that message. Right. That's one point I gave you. The second point which I had given you was the swift change which we need to take now immediately. I was talking to you about the curvy linear. No more curves should be there. Our progress should be very linear. கீழ இருந்து மேல போயிட்டே இருந்தா in the 20 years or the 10 years we can do something, some wonder. And the third point is very important. All teachers have been doing a fantastic job, right? All you have to do is now change your strategy or adopt a new strategy. So this is the third session on which we will be seeing how to do this particular strategy here. Okay. Now, questions were asked to many multinational corporations. Multinational corporation not necessarily being abroad. Multinational corporations in India itself. They asked these questions. Is global competence an important consideration for employment in multinational corporation? They said yes. Right. Next, they asked, are high revenue earning companies insisting on global competencies? Yes. Companies that have high annual revenues over $1 billion and more than 10,000 employees placed a higher importance to global competency. Right. Are companies eagerly training employees on global competencies? Yes. 70% of the companies are training their employees to be globally competent enough. Now the last point, 69.9% strongly required colleges to prepare on global competencies. This is the point, friends. They are expecting the colleges to prepare the student to be globally competent. So here we have got an authentic report which says that the time to act is now. And it is we, the teachers, who can provide it. It could be any subject, but make him globally competent. Right? They should be knowing what impacts their quality of life. So it says, preparing our youth for a future of climate and environmental instability begins by helping them understand the workings of the earth, why and how climate change takes place, and what consequences it is likely to have on various habitats and ecosystem as their own. I think by this time, many of you would have understood how BCom is connected to environmental studies. Can anybody link that? It's very quite simple. Right? When there is a climate change, when the whole world is affected by the climate change, when we find that you can no longer live in the icy region because of the melting of the ice and the population moves out, where will they go? Countries have to accommodate them. You cannot say you're from Iceland, so I cannot take you to India. You cannot say that. What if the global warming happens and we are surrounded by the oceans? And if we are having more tsunamis coming into India, the seaside people have to move into the central part of the countries. Can anybody say no? Right? The manufacturing system, the manufacturing style, the manufacturing place, the operations, everything will go for a change. Please anticipate that now. Right. And we are on the final part. How do we build global competency? Enna pannalam? Right. There are three ways to build global competency. First, a student should be aware. Suppose he is doing BCom in your college. He should be aware on the cultural and belongingness competency. That means he should know what is his culture. He should know what is his neighbor's culture. He should know what is the culture of America. He should know what is the culture of Japan. Well, I will show you one point here where Sweden is learning more about India now because they feel that Sweden and India could collaborate more in so many business terms. That means more of Sweden people will be coming to India, more of Indian people will be going to Sweden. Second is your skill competency. That is your subject. That you all know how to make him with so many certifications, etc. And third is the contributing competence. These three are must. If you look at now, there'll be, say for example, a student guitar, 70% maybe our concentration will be on skill competency. The maybe balance 30% is split between the cultural and belongingness competency and contributing competency. No, now we require 33.33, 33.33, 33.33 in all these three aspects so that he becomes 100% globally competent. So there are some clues here how to make him, when it comes to culture, allowed to ask questions and investigate. Inculcate human religion in campus. Give more liberal arts in institutions. As a course, even if you don't have the liberal arts course, encourage liberal arts. And if you look at the national educational policy, they are talking about cross-cultural courses, right? Cross-discipline, they are talking about. There is nothing wrong in a commerce student understanding little of physics. He needs to understand. He wants to become an entrepreneur. Maybe he wants to start an electronic companies. In commerce, his interest would be little bit to know about electronics. But that doesn't mean that he has to go to an engineering. If you could get a glimpse of the physics teacher or physics teacher's knowledge, probably he would become an entrepreneur. Not every BCom student goes to an accounting job here. Many are self-styled entrepreneurs, yes. So the awareness on ecosystem and regional strength is a must. Self-confidence, national affinity. Okay, all those things you know, how you have to develop the culture. Now I'm coming to a very important survey determining global competencies. The survey was done by Hunter. The survey indicated that the most critical step to becoming globally competent is developing a clear understanding of one's own cultural norms and expectation. First, நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டை அவனை சுத்தி இருக்கிற அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்கை வலுப்படுத்துங்க. It is important for a person to first establish self-awareness and then find solution for the challenges. And what a beautiful things that. Again, it comes to our, what you call it as, saints and gurus who have told that first understand who are you, who am I, nan yar. A student should know because they are the future leaders. Now we are mesmerized. We are morphized by leaders. And we don't have a say at all. But the future generation is not going to be like that. The future generation are going to be the leaders. They are not going to allow, some leaders come out of his money, he takes up a post. It's going to vanish. Yeah, you are going to see this. Look at one single incident of the I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look at one single incident of that Jallikattu. I'm really sorry. That Jallikattu had given a national lesson to the various governments and politicians that the youth will arise any time. And already the youth are talking about the insufficient education they are having. I'm not talking about what we are imparting in the colleges. They are talking about their time being wasted. Their time being wasted. So it is we need to design the classes in such a way that it interests him. Okay. Now, forget about the word engineering, that this is common. Ability to identify, formulate, and solve problems, whether he's a commerce man, whether it's belongs to any degree. Cross application of math, science, and engineering is must, irrespective of any courses he does. At least a little of that he should be knowing. And ability to use technique, skills, and tools, and ability to design and conduct experiment, ability to design a system, work experience. Okay, and you see where your high CGPA comes. It comes at the last, right? Now, let's look at the contributing competency. The student should be contributing to the society. Students should be involved in contributing towards society in any form. His or her mind works on what to give next. Okay. So, though we have seen here and there what needs to be done, the current efforts should be like this. I have summed up. These are my summing up. Right. You are always being audited by an agency. Nevertheless, you have somebody of your friend, the neighboring institute, call over for an informal audit and ask them whether we are good or bad or average. They will tell you. Now, the own curricula to focus on global competency. Now is the time. Add up all these, whatever I discussed with this, as an element. Maybe 5 minutes of your class should carry this. or 10 minutes of your class should carry this. And maybe few hours in a semester should carry this. Teach him international elements and the language abilities. And main thing is our networking. To what extent we teachers are internationally associated. To what extent we teachers are internationally associated. Okay. Friends, Britain, the Department for International Development has sought to integrate global development issues into the formal curriculum through the Global Partnership School programs with Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. This is very recent. In Sweden, as I told you earlier, the Global Citizens Program prepares students, teachers, and school leaders to understand countries with significant importance to Sweden's future. Partnership with schools in China and India are thought to prepare students for the real demands of the world. See, from studying abroad to engaging in sustainable development, corporate social responsibility, and economy and finances. They say it is must. And the Maastricht Global Education has given us the point here. Open people's eyes and minds to the realities of the world and awaken them to bring about a world of greater justice, equity, and human rights for all. In these leaders' view, global education is thought to encompass, but is not limited to education for human rights, sustainability, peace, and conflict prevention. Quality of life. You are an engineer, give quality. If you are a commerce student, give quality. So that is what global competence requires. So friends, on the previous slides we have seen, if you want to make a candidate globally competent, there are three aspects here. One is culturally competent, second is skill competent, and third one is the contributing competence. Now, what is the solution? You can take few things from here and try to incorporate in your program here. Vocational skills are must. Interdisciplinary courses. Each student is exposed to few basic skills. Initial years to focus on skill identification. And gradual skill development. On campus, on site to increase. Customize the classes. Teach concepts first. All programs to be done by student only. Have a national credit mechanism for students. You can get a credit from anywhere. And have a national skill assessment for teachers. So these are some of the ways which you could think, and I know as experienced teachers, you would be able to think much more than what I have tried to say. I've given only you the clue what we have to do. Okay, so skill the education and kill the monotony. That's what I would like to say. So friends, I finished my presentation here. Just to give a recap, I want to remind you, we are going to see excess graduates for which employment may not be possible in the future within India itself. That is number one. Second one, India has to immediately wake up to meet the global challenges, at least for food, safety, and health aspects. We need to be self-sufficient. Don't get mesmerized by the data saying that India is the second fastest growing economy with that GDP, this GDP and all. See the reality. When a pandemic came, you saw the real position. We were begging countries for help. You know, with 458 crores used in the ESI hospital for building the hospital, it is the local crowd which had gathered 4 crores and prepared the oxygen plant. And every day, 60 to 70 patients survived because of this. You would have seen on the newspaper, Rotary Sangangal, இணைந்து கவர்மெண்ட் ஹாஸ்பிட்டலையும் சரி, இஎஸ்ஐ ஹாஸ்பிட்டலையும் சரி, அவங்க ஆக்சிஜன் பிளான்ட்டை போட்டாங்க. ஏன் சார் அந்த ஆக்சிஜன் பிளான்ட் இல்லை? அந்த ஆக்சிஜன் பிளான்ட்டை போடுற வரைக்கும் எத்தனை உயிர்கள் போச்சு அந்த ஆரம்ப காலகட்டத்தில்? இதுக்கெல்லாம் தான் சார் 450 கோடி பணம் இருந்துச்சு. இஎஸ்ஐ ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் கட்டி பெருசா லாஸ்ட் இயரோ அது எத்தனையோ இயர்ஸ் முன்னாடியோ அதை ஓபன் பண்ணி எல்லாரும் கை தட்டினாங்க. ஆனா என்ன சார், மூச்சு விடுறது கூட ஒரு பேசிக் எக்யூப்மெண்ட் இல்லை. தட் மீன்ஸ் we are not globally competent enough to take care of us. So on the last part, I have given you the 3 solutions. Cultural competency build must, skill competency in their respective subjects must, contributing competency is must. Sir, I will tell you, I'm really proud of these Rotary clubs which has done daily newspaper la paathirpeenga. அந்த கல்ச்சர் இருந்ததுனால தான் சார் எல்லாரும் ஒன்று திரட்டி கிட்டத்தட்ட 11.5 crores கோயம்புத்தூருக்கு மட்டும் செலவழிச்சிருக்கிறாங்க. இன்னொரு ரோட்டரி சங்கம் வந்து தாராபுரத்தில் உள்ள ஒரு GH ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு அங்க ஆக்சிஜன் பிளான்ட் போட்டிருக்காங்க. Why? Their teaching there is globally competent. Be globally competent. They looked the world as one. They don't look the world as difference. So, dear members of faculty, I thank you for the wonderful opportunity given here to me on this particular topic. And it's been a marathon session for an hour and a half. And thank you for the patient hearing. Now I would like to take up few questions. And kindly initiate the questions, professors, because they are more important. I am filled with statistics I can give you, help you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Malliga Srinivasan, Professor, for saying that it's an excellent session, really. Okay, good. Okay, Dr. Poonam, sorry if I had gone a little Tamil. Okay, I don't think I have spoken much on that. Organizers, kindly initiate the question hour session, please. Dr. Namachivayam, thank you, sir. An eye-opening session for us, sir. Dr. Satya, very valuable information, sir. Helps our teaching. Dr. Rama says, really good session. Thank you. Professor Revadi says, highly informative. Yes. Kumaresan, sir? Hello? Hello, Kumaresan, sir?
Sir, or emission. Kumaresan, sir?
Please initiate the question session, madam. Just.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Dr. Vanita Mani says, excellent session. Thank you, sir. Raj Shekharan, sir. Okay, I thank you all very sincerely for giving me this but a few questions would be very, very helpful so that we can take something home today. Whether we will change the syllabus or education system for the global competence, what is your opinion? Yeah, that's a nice question, Dr. Yasoda. Yes. See, we, as I told you, we are coming from the top-down approach. If you are autonomous institution, yes, to a certain extent, you can do a lot of changes. If you are under the affiliation system, don't worry. You make a representation to the university to say that boldly, we require these syllabuses in our study. This will make skillful, because any senior people will understand the particular thing. So even after your representation, the changes has not been made, you always do away with couple of hours, subject hours, and have this global competency department itself. Create a department for global competency and prepare them on the cultural skill and the contributing skill. Right? Now, college Rotaract no. That is one aspect of the contributing skills. These people will automatically be the contributor, but somehow it is only a minuscule percentages of Rotaractors. What about the rest of the students? So somehow you have to break that monotony and see that everybody gets that particular knowledge. So whether you get the support from the university or whether you support from wherever, in your campus you do it. That is how you're going to be unique. See, no more horizontal institutions, only vertical institutions. What I mean to say is, you are hundreds of acres and your sprawling buildings and your extra facilities are now may not be required because the millennials have changed. They need not play football in your college ground. They know where to go to play football. Okay, so the vertical thing is happening now. Right. Hope I answered that particular question. With reference to educational institutions, are the teachers really well equipped to make our students globally competent? Okay, Dr. Ann, it's a very nice question. We are equipped, but only thing, we need to create a balanced syllabus. First of all, don't compare your college with any other college. In the neighbor, whatever he is doing, don't bother about that. Please have a vision for your college. Just carry out that vision, number one. Second, as I told you, there is enough statistics to prove that Indian teachers are the best. Each department, you devise a structure called globally competent structure. Say, for example, here you have Department of Commerce, CA, IT, and PA, Professional Accounting. For all three of you, you have a globally competent syllabus done, which may be not part of your approved curriculum. Send it to me, or I will come across one day. I will create a timetable for you where you can easily add this, and you see the first feedback from your students. They are going to say, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. This is really very good, sir. This is what we expected. I bet you they will go, not going to say that. So it is within your fold how you are going to bring the changes. Don't depend on anybody. See, now what happened during pandemic situation, you people, all of us worked extra time, isn't it? See, we collected the fees. We didn't meet them at all. We spoke to them and collected the fees. We spoke to them and made them involved in internship. We spoke to them and saw they completed their project. We spoke to them and saw they attended Viva hours. We spoke to them and we they attended their examinations and completed. So this is also possible now. And they are tech savvy. They will sit very coolly if it is interesting. So please include it, Dr. Ann. Don't worry, I am there to help you. Respected sir from Dr. Malliga Srinivasan, suggest some of the measures to improve the contributing competency of rural students. Thank you, sir. Okay. Yes. Madam, first, may I know which part of Coimbatore or Tamil Nadu you are from?
I'm from
There are three.
Krishnan Koil, sir. Krishnan Koil, Virudhunagar district. Krishnan Koil.
Okay.
Virudhunagar district, sir.
First of all, was this topic very useful for you, Dr. Malliga?
Right, sir. Very excellent, very useful. I have gathered many information, sir.
Okay. Dr. Malliga, three things you please do immediately.
Okay, sir.
Students, you please give them the regional awareness. Whichever area you are, first they should have sufficient knowledge about their area. Okay. எத்தனை பேர் பாவர்ட்டியில இருக்காங்க, எத்தனை, for example, how many doctors are there per 1,000 people? India has got the lowest ratio. I think we have only one doctor per 1,000 patients. So make them aware about their reality first. That is point number one. We call it as the ecosystem. They should know what is their surrounding. That is second one is we have to make them understand that when you give more, you get more. When you give more, you get more. So that you inculcate into them. That knowledge you inculcate into them. Third one is please associate yourself with any organization called the Lions or the Rotary or the Wise Club or the CIA Young Club. Please see that each one of the student is there with them. You need not become member. You need not even open a chapter there. If you are having some formalities, difficult, but see that you are there with them. நான் ஏன் திரும்ப இதை சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, அந்த கான்ட்ரிபியூட்டிங் காம்பிடன்சி இங்கே தான் வரும். It has to be there. Please do these three things, Dr. Malliga. Definitely you can see a change.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Okay, organizers.
Sir.
What's next, Professor?
Sir, vote of thanks. Anandi ma'am. Now I call upon Anandi ma'am to deliver vote of thanks.
So before
thank you, ma'am.
Sangeeta ma'am, before that, can I have one or two feedbacks?
Yeah, sure. Sure, sir.
Yeah, about this session, please.
Okay, sir.
A lot of them have given on the chat box, but I would like one or two of you to speak. Karthikeyan sir, நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Tell me, Professor, I'm listening to you.
Sir, it was because as teachers, sir, as teachers, it was an useful session for us. So especially during this pandemic, many think that they are tied up at home. But in my opinion, it is a wonderful opportunity, or it is a golden opportunity to improve ourselves. So not only ourselves, even our students too. So the insights which you have provided us can definitely be used for our students too, sir. So it was an illuminating and thought-provoking session, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Okay, I leave it to the organizers to have your proceedings, please. Thank you very much.
Anandi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. On behalf of School of Commerce with CAPAIT of PPG College of Arts and Science, it's my great privilege to propose vote of thanks for our today's session. First and foremost, I give my heartfelt thanks to our guest today, Dr. Nanjan Babu sir, promoter and director, Cosmos Sports World, principal partner, Standards and Excellence, director, STSM, Sri Saraswati Tyagaraja College, Pollachi, who has spent his busiest time with us. Sir, you have given a fantastic speech on it's time to create a global competent professional.
Okay,
You
thank
have
you, ma'am.
lots of real-time comparison reports of other countries with as an Indian professional where we are lacking today, and you have given a vast idea of how we need to develop ourselves still more fast in this fast-moving world, and how to use strategy and how to build it to become a globally competent. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable speech today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really, really happy that,
Sir,
PPG College has given me such a wonderful opportunity. I'm thankful to principal. I'm thankful to Mr. Karthikeyan. I'm thankful to all the people of PPG College for giving me such a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, sir. Next, I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. N. Muthumani, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your continuous support and guidance. I also thank the coordinator of today's session, Mr. M.P. Karthikeyan, sir, for arranged a wonderful session for us. Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to all the faculty friends of various institutions and our institutions who has joined with us today. Thank you so much, all. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning end. Let us meet again tomorrow with new guests, with new nurturing. Thank you all. Thank you.